With over 30 years in emergency medicine, I need to say this as clearly as possible. Most people over 60 don't survive their first heart attack if they're alone. That's not fear-mongering. That's what I've seen again and again. Picture this. You're sitting quietly when suddenly there's a crushing pain in your chest, like someone sitting on you. You can't breathe, right? Cold sweat, dizziness, maybe nausea. But instead of calling for help, you wait, hoping it passes. That hesitation is deadly. Here's the harsh truth. Most heart attack deaths happen before the ambulance even arrives. Delays, confusion, and denial steal more lives than the heart attack itself. I've lost count of how many people reached the ER too late, when a few simple actions at home could have changed everything. But here's the hope. You can absolutely improve your odds. There are proven science-backed steps that keep you alive until help arrives. They're easy. They work. And you can do them even if you're completely alone. Today, I'll walk you through 7 critical survival strategies every senior must know. And when we get to tip number 3, listen closely, because studies show it can mean the difference between major damage and recovery. All medical references are listed below for your peace of mind. Now tell me, how old are you? Comment your age. I reply to every message, like we're in the same room together. Let's begin with tip number 7, the move that could save your life. The very first move, before anything else, is to call emergency services immediately. Don't wait. Don't question it. Don't convince yourself it's nothing. In cardiology, there's a saying, time equals tissue. Every passing minute means more heart muscle dying from lack of oxygen. According to the American Heart Association, calling for help within the first few minutes can double your survival odds compared to those who hesitate. Yet so many seniors delay that call. They tell themselves, it's just indigestion, or I don't want to bother anyone. Hours slip by. Damage multiplies. By the time paramedics arrive, it's too late to reverse the loss. I remember a 65-year-old man from California. He felt tightness in his arm and mild chest discomfort. He waited 3 hours before seeking help. When he finally arrived at the hospital, half of his heart muscle was gone. One phone call, made sooner, could have saved it. So here's my rule. At the first sign, pressure in your chest, shortness of breath, nausea, pain spreading to your arm or jaw, assume the worst and make the call. Even if it turns out to be a false alarm, you lose nothing. But if it is a heart attack, that one decision could mean the difference between walking out of the hospital or never getting there. Have you ever ignored a warning sign from your body? Let me know below, because while help is on the way, your next step can keep blood flowing. And that's tip number 6. Once you've called for help, your next move could save your heart. Literally. If you have aspirin nearby, chew 1 tablet right away. Don't swallow it whole. Here's why. Aspirin helps thin the blood and slows down clot formation, which is the main cause of most heart attacks. When a clot blocks blood flow to your heart, muscle cells start dying fast. But aspirin can buy you time. It keeps that blockage from getting worse until medics arrive. And chewing matters. When you chew instead of swallow, the medicine enters your bloodstream almost instantly. Studies published in leading cardiology journals show that people who chew aspirin during a heart attack have over 20% lower risk of death compared to those who don't take it at all. I'll never forget a 72-year-old woman who followed this exact advice. She was alone, feeling chest pressure, called 911, and chewed an aspirin while waiting. Paramedics later told her it likely prevented serious damage to her heart. So, keep a small pack of uncoated 325 mg aspirin tablets in easy reach, like on your nightstand, kitchen counter, or in your wallet. But remember, if you're allergic to aspirin, have bleeding disorders, or your doctor has told you not to take it, skip this step. Do you keep aspirin at home or in your bag? Drop a comment and share how you stay prepared. Now, with the medication working, your next step involves body position, and it's crucial for easing heart strain. Now that help is on the way and aspirin is doing its job, your next focus is physical comfort, and it matters more than most people realize. Start by loosening anything tight around your chest, waist, or neck. Unbutton your shirt. Remove a tie or belt. Even small amounts of pressure can restrict blood flow and make breathing harder. Then, sit upright, not flat, not reclined, upright. Here's the science. When you sit up straight, your lungs expand more fully, and your heart doesn't have to fight against gravity to circulate blood. This position reduces chest pressure and prevents fluid from building up in the lungs. Cardiology reviews confirm that an upright posture can actually help stabilize oxygen levels during cardiac distress. One patient comes to mind. A 68-year-old woman who was out on a morning walk when she felt sudden heaviness in her chest. She loosened her belt, sat upright against a wall, and focused on calm breathing while waiting for paramedics. That quick decision helped her stay conscious and stable until rescue arrived. So if you ever feel those symptoms, find a supportive chair or wall, keep your back straight, and stay as relaxed as possible. Avoid lying flat. It forces your heart to work harder, especially if you have high blood pressure or lung issues. Where's your go-to comfortable spot at home? The place you'd sit to recover? Share it in the comments. Because next, we'll talk about an unusual trick that can help you stay conscious when dizziness hits. That's tip number 4. This next tip may sound strange, but it can keep you conscious long enough for help to arrive. If you start feeling faint or lightheaded, begin coughing, hard and regularly. Yes, coughing. It's called cough resuscitation. When you cough forcefully, you momentarily increase pressure in your chest, pushing blood through your heart and brain. In effect, you're creating a mini pump to maintain circulation until paramedics can take over. Medical reports and cardiology studies have shown that this technique can help sustain alertness during certain heart rhythm problems. It's not a cure, but it can buy precious seconds of consciousness, time that matters when every beat counts. Here's how to do it. Take a deep breath in, then cough firmly from your diaphragm, like you're trying to clear something stuck in your throat. Repeat every 2 to 3 seconds while symptoms persist or until you feel steady again. I once had a 67-year-old patient who tried this in his garage after feeling dizzy and short of breath. He kept himself awake and talking on the phone with emergency services until help arrived. The paramedics later said his quick thinking may have prevented cardiac arrest. So remember, don't panic and don't stop breathing. Breathe in, cough out, repeat. It might sound odd, but it's a bridge between collapse and survival. Have you ever tried a breathing or coughing technique before? Share your story below, because up next, we'll cover a move that ensures rescuers can reach you quickly. Tip number 3. If this is resonating, hit like, subscribe, and enable notifications for more vital insights, because what's coming next could literally save your life. Now, let's move on to tip number 3, a step most people never think about until it's too late. Once you've called for help and taken aspirin, make sure rescuers can reach you easily. That means unlock your door, front, back, whichever they can access fastest. If you live in an apartment or gated community, buzz open the entrance or leave a key visible in a safe, easy-to-spot location. Why is this crucial? Because even a few minutes of delay can change everything. Emergency data shows that for every 10-minute delay in access, survival chances can drop by nearly 10%. That's valuable time lost because paramedics are forced to break in instead of treating you. There's a real case that proves this point. A 75-year-old man in Arizona felt crushing chest pain, called 911, and unlocked his front door before sitting near it with his phone on speaker. Paramedics arrived and reached him within seconds. They stabilized him and got him to the hospital in time. In another incident, a woman kept her doors bolted. Crews had to break through, losing vital minutes, and she didn't make it. So here's your rule. Unlock, stay near the entrance, keep your phone close, and use speaker mode. It lets you talk hands-free and follow dispatcher instructions while conserving energy. How do you prepare your home for emergencies? Share your tips below. Someone watching might learn from you. And now that rescuers can reach you easily, the next step is all about calming your mind and stabilizing your body. That's tip number 2. Deep, deliberate breathing. At this stage, your actions should focus on staying calm and keeping oxygen flowing. Panic is your enemy. It speeds up your heart, spikes your blood pressure, and drains precious energy. That's why tip number 2 is to engage in slow, deliberate, deep breathing. Here's why it works. Controlled breathing sends a signal to your nervous system that you're safe, which helps reduce the stress hormones flooding your body. Studies from cardiac rehabilitation programs show that patients who practice steady breathing during heart distress experience lower pain levels and improved stability while waiting for help. Here's how to do it. Place one hand on your abdomen. Inhale slowly through your nose, letting your stomach rise. Then exhale gently through your mouth, as if sipping through a straw. Aim for 6 to 8 breaths per minute. No rush, just rhythm. This method increases oxygen delivery to your heart and brain while keeping you focused and centered. I once treated a 70-year-old man who remembered this exact technique during a heart episode. He stayed calm, breathing deeply until paramedics arrived, and doctors later said that composure likely helped limit the damage. So when fear hits, return to your breath. Remind yourself, I'm breathing. Help is coming. Your goal is to keep your body steady and your mind clear. What's your favorite way to calm down? Music? Prayer? Breathing? Share it below. Because after you master your breath, one final rule remains, the one that ties everything together. That's tip number 1. Remain completely still. This is the golden rule, the one that can multiply the effect of every step before it. When you suspect a heart attack, stay completely still and composed. Do not pace, do not stand up, and do not try to walk it off. Every movement forces your heart to work harder when it's already struggling for oxygen. Here's the science. During a cardiac event, your heart muscle is starved of blood. Any activity increases demand, which accelerates damage. Studies in leading cardiology journals show that patients who remain calm and motionless have a noticeably higher chance of survival compared to those who stay active or anxious. So, after you've called for help, taken aspirin, adjusted your position, and steadied your breath, your job is to rest. Tell yourself, out loud if needed, help is coming. My job is to stay calm. It sounds simple, but that mindset preserves precious energy and keeps your heart rhythm steadier. I remember a 69-year-old patient who felt severe chest pressure while gardening. Instead of panicking, she sat still, focused on breathing, and waited. Paramedics later said her calmness made their job easier and her recovery smoother. So here's your final reminder. Conserve every heartbeat. Breathe deeply, move minimally, and trust that help is on its way. What's your personal strategy for staying calm during a crisis? Share your wisdom below. Someone out there might need it today. Now, let's wrap up with a quick recap and your final call to action. So let's bring it all together. These 7 actions, calling emergency services, chewing aspirin, sitting upright, coughing if dizzy, unlocking your door, breathing deeply, and staying still, are simple. But together, they can dramatically raise your chance of surviving a heart attack when you're alone. Each one buys you time. Each one protects your heart until professional care takes over. You don't need fancy equipment or medical training, just presence of mind, preparation, and the will to act quickly. Remember, heart attacks rarely give warnings. They strike in moments of calm, watching TV, cooking dinner, or resting in bed. But when you're ready, you take control. You turn panic into purpose. That's what saves lives. If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. Preparation is power. Have aspirin accessible. Keep your phone nearby. Know these steps by heart. And if symptoms ever appear, act decisively, because your future might depend on those first few minutes. Now, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? Do you already keep aspirin at home, or have an emergency plan ready? Share your thoughts in the comments. I personally read and reply to as many as I can. If you found this valuable, like, share, and subscribe for more real-world, life-saving health insights. Send this to someone over 60 who lives alone. It might just save their life. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay strong.